Welcome everybody. We are going to talk today about multiplication card games. I am Kathleen Lawler and I'm going to be your host here today. Okay, the two games that we're going to be doing here today are coming from the Math Card Games book written by Dr. Cotter. And since we're looking at multiplication games, the first one we're going to look at is Multiples Solitaire. This is game P19 in the book. This is what it looks like. And let's go through and look at all the details on it. The objectives, first thing we want to do is we want to provide practice in recognizing multiples. This is a solitary game, so one person will play. And we're going to use any 4 sets of multiplication cards. I've chosen to use 3s, 4, 5, and 6 today. We're going to lay the 4 sets of cards, and each set contains 10 numbers. So since we have 4 sets, there's 40 cards. Face up in fans of 3, and of course the last fan will only have 1 card. And our goal is to collect the 4 sets in order. Basically, this is like the traditional solitaire game where you've got the aces up on the top and you try to build them from there. So the rules are very similar. So only the top card of any fan can be played. And columns are started with the lowest number of a set, like an ace, as they become available. So in this case, it's the 3, 4, 5, and 6. The top card of any fan may be moved to another fan if the top card of the new fan immediately follows the card being moved. And I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. And a group of cards may also be moved, like rule number 3, provided that they are all consecutive multiples of the same set. The last card of a column may be moved to another column. And 1 reshuffle is allowed. When no more cards can be played, the remaining cards may be picked up, shuffled, and laid out in fans of 3 cards each. Okay, let me show you what that all meant. We're going to play a game here. So again, we have the 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s. I have 10 of each card, so I have a total of 40 cards here, laid out in my fans of 3. Let's look at where our starting cards are. So I'm looking for the 3, 4, 5, and 6. And actually there's 2 6s. So I can see I've got all of my starting cards are buried. So let's maybe start by pulling this 25 off and see if I can put that on something else. So do you see where I could put it? Again, it has to be a multiple. Put on another card to make a multiple of 3, 4, 5, or 6. So what if I put it on the 30 there? That's a multiple of 5. And that's a valid play. So I can move that 25 over to the 30. Now that just frees up my 5 and my 6. All right, let's start to see if we can build on the 5s. The multiples of 5, so 5, 10 is our next one. Does anybody see the 10? Right down here. So I can pick that one up and put it on. Next card I need is a 15, which I have right here. After 15, we put on a 20, which both of those two are buried. So I guess I'll leave those for right now. Let's go look at the 6 and see what we can do. 6, what comes next? 12. After 12 is a 18. Then it's 24. Then we have 30, which I can see up on the top there. Next one is 36. Oh, that's also buried. Okay, let's go and look and see. Here's our 4. Can we move this 12 off? See how this strategy is kind of coming to play here. So 12, I could put that on the 16, but that's going to bury my 3 even farther. So how about if I move this 12 up to the 18? Because that would be a multiple of 6. So I can move that, which frees up my 4. After 4 comes 8. Then it's 12. Got that same 12 again. 16 is next. Got that. Oh, look, that just freed up my 3 right over here. So I can take this 3 and I can continue to build from here. After 3 comes 6, which I have buried. So I'm going to have to start to do some working with this. And I'm not going to show you how the whole game goes. You're getting the whole idea with it. But once we have this all done, it will look like this. We're going to try to put these all together. This is multiple solitaire. Now, 3, 4, 5, and 6, those aren't really too difficult. But when you start to get into the 6, 7, 8s, 9s, it becomes a little bit more challenging. And if some of you are like me and have a little bit of a difficulties, it's nice if we have a multiplication chart. But if you're like me, I look at this multiplication chart and sometimes I think this is all I see. It's just too much information. I can't see it, too many numbers. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this multiplication chart and I'm going to shorten it by getting rid of all my duplicate numbers. See how I'm just getting rid of my duplicates? We're going to call this the short multiplication chart. Now to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to shade in 1 through 5. I'm going to shade it in groups of 5 so it's easy to see where the 5s are. Let me show you how you use this now, even though it's short. If I do 6 times 6, here's 6, 6 times. Oh, 36, that's pretty easy. What if I have 4 times 8? I can do 4 times 8. Turn the corner. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My answer is 32. Let's do 7 times 9. 7 times 9 is 63. Now I could also do it as 9 times 7. Of course it's the same answer, but sometimes kids don't see that quite right away. This is our short multiplication chart. This will help the children as they're learning their facts. So I showed you the multiples solitaire game. Let me show you another one here. This is called Crazy Squares. Crazy Squares is game P23 in the Math Card Games book. And our objective of this game is to quickly recognize our multiples. We want to use 2 to 6 people can play. And we can use 5 sets of the multiplication cards. And be sure that all the players know which sets are being used. We're going to use the 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s for our game here today. We deal 7 cards if we have 2 players, or 5 cards each if we have more than 2. And our goal is to be the first one out of cards or with the fewest cards at the end of the game. It's played like a Crazy Eights game. So like I said, we're going to use the multiples of 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the wild cards, rather than 8s like the Crazy Eights, are going to be the squares of the sets used. So 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. So we're going to have 4, 9, 16, 25, and 36. But because we've got some multiple numbers here, there's actually going to be 8 wild cards. All right, so let's go ahead and play. These are my cards. These are your cards. And the rest of the cards we're going to lay face down. So we're going to start by flipping over a card. I'm going to call 2s. So I'm calling 2s. So what cards do I have that have 2s in there? I have that. You put the 8 on there. That's a multiple of 2. Then it's your turn. You could use the 4. It's a wild card. So let's hang on to that. Instead, let's use the 18. That's a multiple of 2. So you're going to use that. And my turn. I see a 12. And your turn. And you're going to use the 4 this time. It's a wild card, and you can call 3s now. So we're switching to multiples of 3. All right, my turn. I'm going to use the 24 because that's a multiple of 3. And your turn. You got a whole bunch of 3s, which of course is why you asked for 3s. My turn. I don't have any multiples of 3, so I need to take an extra card. Still no multiples of 3. And another card. Oh, goodness, I finally got a multiple of 3. I can play the 15. And the game continues from there. Remember when you are playing this to use the short multiplication chart. Let the children use this so they can get this image and these facts in their mind's eye. Again, all these 2 games that we played are coming from the Math Card Games book. This particular book has number sense, addition, clocks, multiplication, money, subtraction, division, fractions. All these types of games are in this book. There's over 300 games. We do have it packaged as a Math Card Games kit. And this particular kit has been given the Excellence in Education Award in 2014 First Place Award, which is kind of fun. These games are also used in the Right Start Math program. The Right Start Math program has been given the First Place Award in 2014 and 15. In conclusion, math provides instant feedback. So if a child doesn't know their math facts and they get something wrong, they've got instant feedback to correct it and get the right answer. Games provide interesting repetition that's needed for automatic responses. And more importantly, games provide an application for the new information that the children are learning. I thank you very much for attending here today on the multiplication card games. Thank you everybody for attending.